Yesterday, we already finished one example how to make the JavaScript. So we already know how to modify the settings, and we use the function in JavaScript. In this case, we use the function test, and there is one parameter. We call this is a parameter, and the parameter, it is a it can be a string, it can be a number, it can be anything, but I'm giving a string. So the string is click, and when I press this one, so in this case, if I press the image, there will be a message, and the message is a string that I already defined here as click. So if you change, like say, good, okay, you change to good. So let me run. So this is the picture yesterday that I downloaded from the internet. If I click, then you can see good. So the parameter is in the parenthesis, and we want to show the message on the parameter. Okay, so this is the example that we can see. Now, if you put a code of JavaScript in your HTML file, it can be complicated because the JavaScript now is very simple, it's very small. But when you want to develop like machine learning, or if you want to develop some kind of algorithm, then it will be very long. Using external script files, it is always a good practice to separate HTML and other related files such as images and JavaScript. So last time I already told you we can make a directory, or we can make a folder, and there are two folders, image and JavaScript. So in this example, we are going to access the external script file and execute in the index.html file. I have my index.html. Now I need to change a little bit. Let's go to the index.html. So this is your file. Now let me copy and paste this code. I will copy and paste. So I will modify everything in the index.html using the newest one. And now I need to make a new file. So the file name is sample.js. It is a JavaScript file. So JS means JavaScript. And I need to put this one into the folder JS. So I will copy this one. And if you still remember, we already created these two folders. We have the folder image and we have the folder JS. In the folder JS, let's make a new file. And you can see there are other various files like style sheet or JavaScript, TypeScript, package JSON, and etc. Now let's use the JavaScript file. So according to the PowerPoint, we need to make sample.js. Sample.js. Because it is a JavaScript file, it is automatically a .js file. So you can just type sample and then you can paste on the sample.js. Now you can see that you have a function, and this function is only a name sample, and we are going to do alert. You know, alert is showing a pop-up, and the message is hello from sample.js. Now I'm going to run the index.html. What is the result? There is a button, and when you click this one, okay, it shows the same like what you already had before. What is the difference? The only difference is now we have a separate file, .js. So we can manage our code in a separate file, so it will not overlap with the HTML file. How to call this JavaScript file? You can see in the line number 3, we want to load static. What is the meaning right here? I want to load from the static that I already defined in the setting. Okay, so this is the static. And what we want to do is to get the source, and the source is from the static that I already defined in the setting and follows with this format. What is this format? JS. JS means the folder name. This JS. And then sample.js is the file name. And the type of this file is text JavaScript. It means I'm going to get this source, and this source will be a type of JavaScript. And when I have a button here, I have a button in the body, and when I click sample, it will call, the value is called JavaScript function from sample.js. So I will click the button and run this function. Where is this function? This function is inside sample.js. So this is the sample function. So you will see something like this one. Now, we are going to learn more about the JavaScript syntax. In JavaScript, it is similar to C#, it's similar to Java. We know the operators like plus, multiply, equal, not equal, and operator, plus. What about the variables? The variables are similar with Python. We do not have the type. We do not care about either it is integer, string, or double. Okay. So we call it typeless. There is no data type. And the conditional statements. We have if, else. For the loops, we have for and while. And we have array. Yeah, in many programming languages, they have array. But this array is somehow, you can see later what is the array in JavaScript. And we have also associative arrays. We have functions that can return value, and we have function variables like the C# delegates. So it's more about the web. Okay. Now let's see one by one. Basically, the JavaScript has two kind of data types. The first is integer or numbers, sorry, not integer, but numbers. It can be integer, it can be floating point. So the floating point is decimal number with comma. We can have Boolean, and the other kind of data type is string, array, and associative array. In the string, we know that the string is a sequence of characters. So for example, my name, I need to define with var. Var is means it is a variable. And yeah, you can just put any string in between the double quote. If you define an array, it is different with Java, it is different with C, where when you want to make the element of the array, you need to have the same data type. But here, you can have different data type. Let's say it is integer, and then this is floating point, and this is string. So you can make many data types in one array. Maybe in Python, we call it list. So list in Python is also the same. There can be many data types. Associative arrays. In some literatures, they mention as table. I think in Python, we can have similar data structure with hash table, which is dictionary. In the dictionary, we know the key and value. So this is the key and this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. And I'm going to put this all into one variable and we call it my hash. And this one is the original format of JSON. Okay, we will learn later about JSON. In order to print this one, we need to call the library JSON dot. It means this is a method stringify, and I need to print my hash. So my hash is the variable name. So I will print this variable into a string. So we can see the format in the string. So let's see. For example, you can put this line in the JavaScript. Maybe for our purpose, let's go to the index.html. And then I will delete this line 3, 4, and 5. And then I will replace with the code that I gave in the PowerPoint. So let me just use the HTML and the JavaScript at the same time because it is easy and it is convenient for us to learn. But later on, please try to separate if it is possible. So like this one, I have my name and this is the my name and then my array and my hash, this one. And I'm going to write my name, I'm going to write my array, and I'm going to write br. It is the break line. And I have the string JSON document write str. If you run this one, what happened? You can see the result because of the document not right. When we want to write this document into the HTML, it means I'm going to write what is the variable or what is the string that I'm going to write is defined here. So I'm going to write my name, comma, PR. We know PR is moving to the next line. So after I finish with this, go to the next line, and then I will print my array, and then go to the next line, and then I'm going to change my hash into string, and then print string. So you can see the result. The first one is you can use both single and double quotes for strings. Yeah, in JavaScript, it doesn't care whether it is two or it is one single quote. As long as it is a quote, then it is a string. And the next, you will print the array, which is 1, 5.3, and then AAA. And then the third one, you print the hash table. So this is the hash table, and now we are printing in the string format. In JavaScript, they call everything as an object. Every variable can be considered as an object. For example, string and array. So string and arrays have member function. So I have tests, and then I have the word sum string. Alert test 7. What does it mean? We are going to check the letter at index 7. Okay. So what is the starting point? 0 or 1? Okay. Every programming language, it will start from 0. Only one programming language starts with 1. You know? For every array or like this kind of string, yeah, it will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, including the space, 5, 6, 7. So the result is R. So it starts from 0. Only one programming language, as far as I know, use the index 1. JavaScript, C#, C++, Java, Python, C, all use 0 index. We want to check what is the character at a particular location. So test is the string, and I'm going to check what is the character at the index 5. In the index 5, the letter is S. And I want to know the word test. What is the difference? If this test, it means I'm going to assess the variable. But this one, I have double quote. Then it is a string. And based on this string, I would like to check the character at the index 1. The index 1 means E. And there is another method, we call it substring. So in the substring, I want to know among the long string, I want to just get the index 1 until 3. So it is not 1, 2, 3, but actually it is only 1 and 2. So the maximum is 3, so 3 is not included. That's why we will have only 2 letters, which is E and S. This is T is index 0, E is index 1, S is index 2, T is index 3. And we can have this one with array. Let's say I have an array and the element is 1, 3, and 4. I want to know the array length. Yeah, it is similar with the Java. We can just use arr.length. So arr is the array variable, and it will show you 3. And for every array, we use the common data structure, which is stack, to handle the array insertion and deletion. So if it is push, so it means I want to append. I want to add one element. So I already have 1, 3, and 4. I want to push 7. Then there will be 1, 3, 4, 7. So 4 elements. If I want to know what is the element in array 3, is the index 3. So if it is 0, 1, 2, 3. So the element in index 3 is 7. What is the new element we just added? There are some operators like plus. You know, in the mathematical or in the arithmetic operators, we have the plus to indicate that it is addition. So the string 1 equals to pet and string 2 equals to cats. If I want to add by using plus, the string 1 plus string 2, it will be pet cats. However, what about this one? 9, what I have a value 9, I will like to convert it to 9 with double quote. So it is string. 9 of string plus 9. And it will be a string. So the result will be 99. But if it is 9 plus 9, if they are numbers, then the result will be 18. Okay. There is a function parse int. Parsing, it means modify. I want to modify the string and I want to parse it into integer. So I want to modify that value into integer. So you can see if I pass the value into integer plus 9, then the result will be 18. So we can handle array. The array that I explained previously, you can define the array with the new empty array. So this is the declaration. We want to have arr, which is the variable name. We can define any name for variable. And then you have a new array. So this will be an object, or this will be one of the elements from the array. Declare an array holding few elements. So I have array and I define 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to append, so if you want to add elements, arr.pushTree. So where is tree? If I have this as the original array, where is tree? Because you are using the function push, then it will be at the end. Okay. What about pop? So pop means we want to remove the element. In this case, if we want to pop, then it will be same with the stack. It will remove the top element. The top element, it means the last element. Reading the number of elements. So I have length to check how many elements that I have, and then find the elements index. So if I want to check what is the value in index 1, then I can use the arr.index of 1. So there will be some ways to print. You can print based on the pop-up. You already know, if you want to use the pop-up, you can just show a message with the alert and put your message inside of the parentheses. If you want to do the confirmation, yes, no, okay, cancel. So that's what we call as the confirmation. It contains text, and we have okay button and a cancel button. And we can use confirm. And we will ask what is, like say, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete the data? You click yes, then it will be deleted. And the other kind of standard pop-up box is we can use from box. The from box, it contains text and input field with the default value. For example, I use from, and I have the message what the user need to input. So enter amount. This is the default value. So if the user didn't put any value, then the default value will be 10. Okay. Okay, let's see. Now I have several objects in this HTML file. Okay. So what is this one? It is a JavaScript demo. You can see in the script section. So when we want to make a script section, then I and some other literatures recommend you to make the script function above the body, not in the body. So here I have function sum. Okay, maybe this is the calculator. Okay. It's a simple calculator. Now I have value 1 and value 2. What is value 1? It will it will parse integer. Why we need to do the parse integer? every value that we get from the web browser, it will be every value we get from the web browser, it will be string. So we need to convert any value into, for example, integer. Here is also the same. Pass integer document.main from .textbox.value. So this value is a string. Now I need to check how I can get the proper value. Okay. I will go down first. We have a form, and the name of the form is main form. Now you can see there are two text boxes. So the first text box is text box 1, and the second text box is text box 2. And I have an input. If you press the button, so the value is processed, then it will run the JavaScript.calculation sum. What is calculation sum? This one. This is the function. And then input the text name text box sum. So this is only a read only in the text box in the web. So here you have value. What is value? The value is any value from the user input. Maybe I will show you. I will show 5 and 3. Okay, if I do press, okay, now it enters 8. Okay. So it is kind of calculator. It's very simple calculator. We have text box 1 and we have text box 2. So this will be the text box 1 and this will be the text box 2. After we have the text box 1 and text box 2, we have the button process and we have another text box. Okay, you can see here. If we click the process, we run the JavaScript, which is the calculator sum. And after we finish with this one, what happened? No such information. Okay, no return value. And just suddenly, I know that I have text box 1, text box 2, and I have the calculator sum, and I just want to print. So you can see this one. So value 1 is the name of this type. Text box 2 is the name of this type. So I'm going to input into this text box. I'm going to input into this text box. And what I'm going to get is the value from the text box 1 in the main form. What is the meaning by main form? It is the name of the form. So in the document, it means in the HTML file, I want to get the main form, it is the name of the form, and then I will check the text box 1, and I'm going to retrieve the value and put those into the value 1. The same with the second value 2. Let's get the document.mainForm.textbox2.value, and then I will put the value into the value 2. The sum will be value 1 plus value 2, and we are going to put the value, which is the sum, into the text box sum variable, and this is read only. The case of read only means you cannot modify. So if you go to the you cannot do any changes. It is read only. If you do one more time, let's say you change to 4, 5 plus 4, once you process, the result is 9, but again, yeah, it's not possible to modify. Okay. Now, let's try if I want to execute another JavaScript file. So let's suppose I want to make a kind of small calculator, and I'm going to run the prompt test.js. So let's copy this code into the index.html. So I hope that you already know that we are loading the static, and the static is a kind of link to the static folder here, and then I'm going to retrieve the prompt test.js. So what is prompt test.js? Okay, this is the prompt test.js. I'm going to use prompt, and I'm going to get the information from the user. So let me make a new JavaScript file, and the name is prompt test. The first previous version of JavaScript, there is no content about like this one, message, and what is the default value. But now they have this content in order to help people to understand about JavaScript, because understanding the JavaScript is very tough, very difficult, although it is flexible, but it is unpredictable. For example, we have a variable price. What is the data type of price? It's not clear, okay? Whether it is integer or it can be string. Because here it is string, enter the price, and then default is 10. So if I input any numbers, it will be a string. But the price, actually, it should be a number, because I want to do some mathematical operation. So you know the past int, but let's see. What about this? So the same with this one. I have the prompt test, so I have the button. So you can see the price. The price now, it shows 10.00. So it is the default value. If I press the 10, okay, the price plus VAT equals to 12. So what is VAT? Okay, so the VAT here is the value added tax. And the value added tax is different from each country. And let's assume that I have 1.2. So what is price? Actually, if we know that 10 is a string, the price will be also a string. But it's quite strange, because the string can be multiplied with 1.2. Okay, so in this case, JavaScript is a little bit confusing if you are not familiar with the data type. That's why in our department, I recommend for the students to do the Java programming, because in Java, you understand about the data type. After you know the data type, it will be easier for you to manage the code. But if you do not know the data type, then it will be tough to understand more details about this code. So this is just to show the price VAT. If I change the value, well, then the VAT now becomes 14.3999999. Okay. Yeah. If you change this to 15, so it is 18. Okay. We can have the conditional statement. In the conditional statement, yeah, I think it's common. We have if, we have then, we have else. So let's suppose the quantity is 120 and the unit price is 1.3. So if there is an order quantity more than 100, then let's make the unit price becomes 1.2. So it means if the quantity is high for the order, then the unit price can be lower. So it means the company wants to give more discount. So you can take a look. This conditional if it has greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equals and not equal. So it is common with the conditional. Okay, let me stop here. Let's have a break. I will continue after the break.